Far from it. George has been making sheep's eyes at you for years. I'd never supposed him to be sufficiently human to let any warmer feeling interfere with his business aims, but lacking a better explanation. Elizabeth got up. I hope you'll find a better. I must go and read to Geoffrey Charles. As she passed Francis, he caught her arm. The relationship between them had been kinder these last 2 years, though it was never warm. He said, We may disagree, but I think his coming today has a plain enough reason. Whatever you may think he feels for me, or I may think he feels for you, we can't doubt what he thinks of Ross. If by befriending us he can put a new division between us and Ross, he will certainly have gained his object. Do you want him to do that? Elizabeth was silent for a moment. Then she said, No. Nor I. He released her arm, and she went slowly out. Aunt Agatha said, You should have asked him for supper. We've plenty as it happens. But 'tisn't like it was when Charles was alive. I sadly miss your father, boy. He was the last one that knew how to entertain in a proper, genteel way. On his way home, at Bargus Cross, where the gibbet stood, George met Dwight Ennis, who was coming from the direction of Goon Prince. Dwight would have saluted and ridden on, but George halted, and the 2 horses closed together. Well, Dr. Ennis, you ride far on your medical duties. Never to Truro, I suppose? Seldom to Truro. And when in Truro, you do not venture as far as the Warleggans? Dwight made some show of quieting his horse, while he thought out his reply. He decided to be frank. I've had nothing but friendship from your family, Mr. Warleggan, and feel nothing but friendship in return. But the Poldarks of Nampara are my chief friends. I live on the edge of their land, work among their mining folk, sup at their table, and share their confidence. In that event, it seems better that I should not attempt to get the best of both worlds. George did not move his neck, but allowed his eyes to explore Dwight's shabby velvet coat with its gilt buttons. Are the 2 worlds so divided that an independent man cannot pass from one to the other of his own free will? I have taken it so, Dwight said. George's face darkened. Men's tongues in some things outrun women's. Your own affairs prosper? Well enough, thank you. I was at the Penvennens' place last week, and gather that you are the regular physician there now. Mr. Penvennon keeps in very good health. I don't see much of him. They tell me that his niece is back. Indeed. I understand you did some clever operation on her throat and saved her life. I think men's tongues have outrun women's in that also. George did not greatly appreciate having his own words turned back on him. He began to feel a growing dislike for young Ennis, who spoke so bluntly and hardly bothered to hide his sympathies. George did not spend his time in company which cared nothing for his approval or disapproval. For my part, he said, I have no faith in physicians or apothecaries. I think they kill as many as they cure. My family is fortunate in not yet being effete, as so many of the older families are. He rode on, followed by his servant. Dwight stared after him, then tugged on his horse's rein and went his way. That he had offended an influential man he knew. In his profession he would have preferred it otherwise, but he had long since chosen his friends. What did concern him was something else. They tell me that his niece is back, George had said. If Caroline Penvennon was really home, it meant the destruction of his peace of mind. Dwight's business was in Saul, and as he was leading his horse down the steep slippery lane to the fish sheds at the bottom, he heard a clatter behind him and saw that Rosina Hoblin had fallen on the stones. She had been carrying a bucket of water, and he looped the reins of his horse over a post and went to help her to her feet. But he could not get her up.